shall be saved. How then shall they?
Whatever you want. Really want to stay because there's 450 other people on the ship. You know, you need to get out and move around a little bit. So I was able to volunteer at a few other things. This is the dental clinic. So you would just go out there on your spare time and help them screen and select patients to do basic dental procedures on. These people don't know to brush their teeth every day. They don't know to floss. They don't have a dentist. If they have a problem, they've got to figure out how to take care of it on their own. So we would do just basic things like tooth extractions and a lot of education with them to help them know how to avoid the problem from happening again. I would also go to the baby orphanages and the children orphanages. There was a ton of them in Point Noir and all over really all over Africa. A lot of these babies were just left on the street, and the people who work at the orphanage are there's about one person per 20 babies, you know, so they've got their hands full just feeding them and changing them and keeping them clean. So a lot of these kids never had affection, like they never been loved on. So we would go do that, you know, twice a week. We would just go and hang out with these kids and give them love and affection and play with them. And it was amazing to see the change in them over several months. You know, they went from, you know, you could see them developmentally improve just because they had that love and affection. I also went to a boys' orphanage. The picture on the right is, we would kind of do the same thing. We would go and just hang out with these kids. They don't really get a chance to just hang out and play. So we would go and read Bible stories and do little activities, and then we would just play basketball, play a lot of them like football, which is soccer, and play frisbee, anything they wanted to do just to give them a chance to be kids. And the pictures on the left are at a senior center. So a lot of the elderly in the Congo, if you're not productive and you're not able to, you know, help in your way of living, then the family just has to, I mean, don't have to, but they do just kind of discard them. So if the elderly isn't able to produce, then they don't have a home, they don't have a way to eat. So this couple actually put together this little center where all these elderly could go and have a place to sleep and have a place to eat. So we would go hang out with them too and just do activities, and we would tell Bible stories. They would tell some stories sometimes that got really interesting, but it was a lot of fun. I also got the chance to go to a hospital further in country. So the hospital on the ship is very westernized. It's a lot more developed than any medical care that they have in the Congo. So we found out that this Pioneer Christian Hospital needed nurses. They needed help. They needed any kind of staff that they could get. So we went up there for about 2 weeks. It was really amazing and difficult to see the amount of things that they struggle and that they have to deal with. These are just a few of the patients that I took care of. The baby on the far right, I helped deliver this baby, and he was 26 weeks old, we think, whenever he was delivered. And they don't have a NICU, they don't have a PICU, they don't have ways to take care of this type of severity of an illness or just lack of development. So this baby actually passed away. But the man in the far left, I got to take care of him for about a week and a half, and he had something that a lot of people here suffer with all the time. He just had an ulcer in his stomach, but he got a severe infection because of the ulcer, and because they didn't have the supplies, they don't have a lot of the medications you need to treat those things, he also wasn't able to make it. But it was, you can see him sitting in that chair, he was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed getting to know him and talk with him. The baby in the far left at the bottom, The first time I saw her, she had malaria and she was seizing. So it was an uncontrolled seizure, and they really didn't have much, to do to take care of these seizures, and they really just had malaria medicine. So we got her seizures under control, but I remember going home that night thinking, this little girl's not gonna live. This is her about 3 days after we treated her, so she was absolutely fine, but it really was a work of God to see that she did survive. And the little baby in the bottom, he had a severe asthma attack with pneumonia. So he was kind of the same. I didn't think that he was going to make it because of the severity of everything that was going on. But this is also about 3 days after I first saw him, and he's doing absolutely okay. These are just a few of the, just random pictures. It was amazing to get to live in their culture and to see the way that they do things there. And it was really amazing to see, despite their lack of everything, they still put their utter trust in praising God. Even though they had so little, they were still praising God for what they had. Some other things I told you it was 6 months worth, so I'm trying really hard. I did a lot of education, so some of the nurses that work in the Congo want to learn more developed way of practicing medicine. So we would have the local nurses, the nurses that worked in hospitals in the Congo, they would come onto the ship and they would just shadow us, and we would teach them, ways that we do more developed medicine. So I did that a lot of the time I was there. We also had translators. So these translators lived in the Congo, and they would come on the ship every day and help us translate with the patients. That way we're able to take good care of them. But the translators live in the Congo, and they don't have a lot of basic education. Like, they don't know dental hygiene, they don't know basic health care, they don't know, haven't had education on how to avoid HIV. So we did a lot of things along those lines just to help get that out and hopefully have a more lasting impact after we left. And then the far right, I did education also at the Pioneer Christian Hospital. We taught a lot of the nurses there about malaria and how to, the methods that they use to treat it. We just helped kind of spread that knowledge a little bit more. Okay, so that's a good general walkthrough of my trip. These are a lot of just other pictures of different patients and people that I got to interact with. I learned several things as I was there. And, I've tried to think of a few of the most important ones that have left an impact on me. I think one of them is just showing God's love. Mercy ships, I love the way that they ministered to people. They believed in spreading the word by being an example of how you live. And so they would read Bible stories to the patients. They would pray just either with the patients or just together as staff. We would just pray all the time. And the goal was that people would be drawn to your way of life, just in how you live. And so it was really amazing to get to do that there, and it's very different there, but it also was just an important reminder for me to come back and do the same thing here, because you can do that in everything that you do every day. Another big thing that I learned was trust. So these patients would come onto the ship, and they would have no idea what they were walking into. They didn't know English. We didn't speak their language. They'd never been in a westernized hospital before. All of a sudden, they're surrounded by all these white people. And we're asking them to completely do everything that we say. So I remember watching them walk up the gangway for the first time and just thinking, could I do that? I don't know if I could just, place my trust in these random people that they're going to take care of me. But then I realized that's exactly what we're supposed to do with God every day with our lives. It was a great parallel, the way that they just utterly abandoned everything, all their sense of control, just so that they could place their faith and trust in us. We're supposed to do the same thing with God and his control over our lives. So I have a little video. This video was actually filmed while I was there on the ship, and I think it just kind of ties into a little bit of ways that you can show God's love every day.
Love is holding my hand. Love is cooking my food. Love is playing Jenga. Love is keeping and then working. Love is speaking my language. Love is changing my dancing. Saying it will be okay. Dancing when I teach. Making me smile. Selling to me. Changing my life for surgery. Love is seeker. Love is